Hi, readers. My name is Heather, and you can think of me as a co-teacher. I have heard that you all have been reading stories. You learned that great readers get lost in their fiction books, turning page after page, thinking about the characters' hearts beating wildly, worrying about those characters, hoping for the best. Today, however, I want to point out that there's also a sit up at the computer and take notice kind of reading. This kind of reading, this sit up and learn reading, is what we do when we read nonfiction. Non meaning not, fiction meaning fake or pretend. Nonfiction, not fake, not pretend, real. Real people, real events, real things. Can you tell? We're starting our new unit of study all on nonfiction. Now, nonfiction reading is different than fiction reading. It looks and feels different because we sit up and we take notice and become experts on real things. And leaning close. We even get ready to read nonfiction in different ways than we do fiction. Today, I want to teach you that nonfiction readers get ready to read by revving up their minds. Before they even start reading a text, nonfiction readers take the time to preview it, to identify the parts and think, how might the book go? What might I be learning? Let me explain about revving up your mind for reading nonfiction. Imagine you're on a motorcycle. Everybody right now, get on your motorcycle and you're about to start it. But you have to rev up the motor. You have to warm up the engine so it's ready to drive. So you put your hands on the handlebars and you rev it up. Vroom, vroom. Can you do that too? Vroom, vroom. Well, nonfiction readers rev up their minds by looking over their text and asking, what is this text all about? What are its parts? And how do all those parts, those pieces come together to teach me all about something? In expository texts, nonfiction texts that you're going to be reading that explain all about something, the author's trying to teach you so that you can become an expert on that subject. So the author is going to give you things like titles and headings and images as well as words to help you become that expert. Let's try this now together. I have a book. It's called Gorillas by Lori McManus. Here's what it looks like right here. Can you see it? Yeah, this is the book that we're going to be using. So in our book, Gorillas by Lori McManus, we can see that we have a big gorilla right here on the front cover. And when we look inside, we have a table of contents. And there's lots of chapter titles here. What are primates? What are gorillas? And so on and so forth. I looked at this earlier and I found a chapter that I think is really fascinating. It's all about the life cycle. What is a gorilla's life cycle? Page 22. I'm going to go there. Now remember, when I start reading, I have to first preview. I got to rev up my mind. Watch me as I do this. I'm going to rev up my mind for reading. I'm going to look at this. I have a chapter title right here. What is a gorilla's life cycle? And then I see a heading. A baby is born. And I see a little picture. The next page, I have another heading. Juvenile gorillas. and I see a picture there. I have to think, how do these parts come together? How do they connect? I'm thinking that this chapter is going to teach me about the different stages of a gorilla's life, from when the gorilla is born all the way through when it becomes a grown up. Because I have the heading about a baby is born and a picture. I've got juvenile, which means a young gorilla, juvenile gorilla, and a picture of a young gorilla. And I bet if I keep reading, I'm going to see something about gorillas when they get a little bit older. So this chapter is in chronological order. Do you see how I did that, readers? Did you see how I used all parts of what I had? The title, the headings, the pictures. I thought, what can I expect to learn? And I did that and put it all together. Are you ready to try it now too, yourself? Okay, it's your turn. Let's go to a different chapter right now, one that we haven't done yet. Let me find one for you. Here's a chapter. What adaptations help gorillas survive? Now let's look at our headings. Arms and legs, hands and feet, and we have a picture here. I wonder, how do these parts go together? What can I expect to learn? When you think you have an idea, whisper it in your hand. Go on. I bet you were whispering that you're expected to learn about parts of a gorilla's body that help the gorilla to survive. So did you think that? Oh my gosh. So readers, let's aim out the really big work we were just doing. Before we start reading anything, we want to rev up our mind for reading nonfiction. And we do this by looking at those text features and think, what is this mostly about? How do the parts come together for me? And of course, when I do this, I can also recall prior knowledge that I have about that subject and put it together with what the book is trying to teach me. So readers, when you go off today to read, don't forget to take a time to rev up your mind before you read. Get your mind warmed up, ready to do that reading. Look at those text features and think, what is this mostly about? And then start reading. If you rev up your mind before you start reading, your mind's going to be warmed up, ready to learn, and you're going to have more fun because you'll be fascinated about your topic. Are you ready? You ready to go off into those amazing nonfiction texts that you have? Off you go.